So I'm just going to do a trade recap on my trades today. I traded Wish. If you can see on the daily here, I had a really good breakout day 2 weeks ago, right here. And then basically has been in play every day since. So we've been watching it for a few days here, and we've been noticing that the lows are getting higher and higher, which is awesome. We love to see this. It's just building compression. Look at all this volume coming in while these days are just getting smaller and smaller. That just screams compression, breakout potential. So I actually traded this on Friday, and you can see this was Friday, and you could see that it did move up quite a bit, but then did pull back. There's definitely some sellers here at $12.20 to deal with, but no doubt this was compressing. So again, today it was in play. It had gapped up from the top of Friday. So here was Friday. Friday opened up, condensed, compressed, and then boom, 10:30 a.m. ripped up a little over $1, which is a lot for a $12 stock, and it was a nice trade there. However, it did sell back down. But then today, let me bring around this chart. Then today, you can see it's opening up right near the top of where it got to Friday, just sort of in line with the whole compression happening, right? So on the 60-minute right here, you can see every day higher lows. This was Friday, had that kind of break up, which looked like a breakout, and maybe it was a small intraday breakout, but it wasn't like the bigger picture breakout, which is more of this $12, $12.20. So when I look for these bigger in-play stocks and I want it to give me the compression breakout, this is the compression breakout. It's a multi-dollar move because of the week-long compression. This one right here on Friday, this was not the breakout because it really only incorporated breaking out of a few of these days, not all of these days here. So because we still had a lot of volume on these days and back here, and you want to break out, there's stops placed above here from people shorting too. So when it broke out on Friday here, yeah, it stopped out some of these people, but it never got up this high. So that's what I was trading today here, and I'll show you what I did. Here's the 1 minute. Price sold off and then made a little bit of a bottom, made a new 5-minute high, and I got long here. Price sold back down and I got back in. I'm going to show another review of the tape here, but it was pretty cool because price came down pretty hard and hit the 66 bid, and the 66 bid would not drop. It might have said 65 cents for a second, but the 66 bid was really holding. Volume was coming in, and it was just sitting here, which was in line with this, this previous kind of breakout of the 5-minute high here that I liked. So when that happened, after I got out, I immediately got back in, and then it just happened to work in my favor because it moved up, then moved up with more volume on this second candle, broke out of this kind of little consolidation. Then I added in with the bigger picture in mind, and sure enough, it did make some decent moves all the way up to pre-market high. And then I pretty much was running out of shares here. The thing is Friday did affect me a little bit because of how, I told you that it kind of broke out on Friday, but then didn't continue. I sort of had that in my mind here. And so I did partial sort of heavy, and I started running out of shares, and I wanted to get back in, and I loved this. I thought this was really good. It failed to keep going, came down, compressed, and then broke down with this high volume, but then wicked up, held just around VWAP, and then came back up and got back above this level of 12. I added in. I thought that was great. I guess I was just a little bit too tight here. got all out, and then it went up a few minutes later. I kind of chased it, got in and got out because I felt chasey. And then a few minutes later, this was the move. Like, this was the compression move that had been building up from the daily, right? Like right here, as soon as it broke about that 1220 area is when the move really happened, like right around here. It came up and then ripped up, and then that was your big breakout with your big volume. So those are all really good signals. So I was out of the stock at the time, and so I really forced myself to get back in it. I didn't want to feel like I was chasing it, but I really was convinced that this was the move. So here we go. It broke out with all this volume. It pulled back. I actually had a limit order to get in tighter here because, like I said, I felt like I was chasing a little bit, and so I wanted to give myself a better risk reward. And so I put in a limit order just above 1231. There was a big bid at 1230, and it never filled me. But then I saw some volume coming in, and I just got it. And I'm like, if this is really breaking out, it's going to move up at least to $13 or more. So I got in pretty heavy here, partialed at some bigger asks and bigger volume, and then it pulled back. It really held this $12.66. And you know me, I like to make these little intraday levels and compressions and consolidations. So I drew this line here to kind of give me a visual. Anywhere along this purple line here, I like to get in, right? Especially on an ad when my average is lower down here. So I added in, and then immediately it started breaking up, which was great. Partial, and then the one big partial that I didn't need to do was right here, and that was because it was a huge ask at 13, and 13 really gave it some trouble. You can see that it gave it another 15 minutes worth of trouble before it really kept going past $13. So this was a big partial I wish I wouldn't have done, but I'm still happy with how I managed this, because then I did hold on to, 10-15% of my shares, and I partialed at key asks and key lots on the way up. 1320, 13 and a half, 1375, and I did have another order up here. I think I had it at 1396, but it never got filled. And then this is awesome because it closed pretty much at near the high of the day, and it's still trading now. And these are the kind of stocks I want to be in because I do want to be able to add in and make another couple R on this. But I thought that I liked this ad because it made a new kind of broke down this level, compressed, and then started ripping up on volume. So I added in, but then it came back down, stopped me out. Actually, I partialed out and finished getting all out. So yeah, that's my trade. I thought it was a good one. I think I made 4.5 R on it. And I'm really happy with I'm happy with how I was all out of it here, and then I managed to get back in it and was patient with it and had another really solid trade here. What else did I traded? Oh, TRCH. So TRCH I liked because had a ton of volume in the pre-market. And I liked this range that it created. So it made this huge high in the middle of the night, came down, and then made this nice support here, and then this nice high here, and then pre-market high was all the way up here. So I didn't trade it at the open or anything. I do think that it would have been a good range break. Holding VWAP, get back above the top of the range, and then get in for a long. I don't know. I personally think these wicks are a little bit too big for me, and I would have to rewatch the tape and the video to see an entry, but this does look tricky. I would have wanted. For me personally, when I see these consolidations or these ranges, I like to see. I would have rather it been like this, and then it hold, and then I go long right here, so it holds the top of the range. Otherwise, if it does break back in the range, I'm almost thinking it could be a short back down to here. Unless it does this, gets back above it, then I think it's a long again. So it's really, it's kind of a battle going on right here. So what I did here was I actually used some limit orders here. This particular trade I really liked because I liked this level here of 890. It wasn't it did break it, but then it got back above it, and you could see these wicks were coming down towards it. So I got in really tight here, and I made a decent amount of money just in this 40 cents here. So I got in really tight at 893, and then partialed up near 921 right there. And that was just a little baby range consolidation that I like these combined with the bigger picture. So if I was actually shorting this, which I don't think there were shorts available, but if I was shorting it, I definitely would have tried it the other way. I would have tried maybe getting in with a tighter limit order right here to go down, partial here or partial right here, and then I add in to continue the short down. Like that's what I like. I like to see these ranges or consolidations within the bigger picture, right? Like, so Thor kind of sees these bigger moves from, you know, R3 to S3 or whatever. And I'm not necessarily the best at getting in up here with that wide stop and waiting for 3 hours for it to get down here. But what I do like is noticing, yeah, this is doing, you know, a Thor move here from top of the range to the bottom. And now it's giving me something I can risk against here, a range, etc. So, and then, oh yeah, so Tesla, I tried a long here on Tesla. I didn't really like that. Because I was reading, I remember I was reading into the tape quite a bit, thinking I was seeing something. And I don't know, I guess maybe I was seeing it slowing down. Maybe I was seeing some buyers coming in, but clearly it wasn't enough. It wasn't ready yet because it did make this sort of head and shoulders reverse pattern. And then here, Kyle took this trade short up here, which I really like because from here to here is exactly one ATR. I think the ATR for Tesla is around $20, $22. So this was a perfect S4 to R4 traverse. One ATR. VWAP is way down here. It's extended. There wasn't anything crazy in terms of volume, like a continuation volume, you know. You had a nice little spike right here in volume to give it that kind of exhaustion. And Kyle went short right here, which was perfect. And then he was about to partial here, and then there was a tweet from Musk which popped it up, and I tried to go long, which was stupid because it didn't have any continuation. So really, it would have been a really good short, because when you have these, like, this was clearly, it was exhausted and it was doing its down move, right, to probably to VWAP. Well, then you get this breaking news, which it's more like a false break news, right? It's a breaking news that really doesn't impact the fundamentals or anything, or maybe the market spiked up and this brought it back up, but it's only temporary, right? It's going to continue doing what it was going to do. So really right here would have been another really good short entry. Or Kyle could have even added in here if he had kind of, you know, thought about that setup too, like I'm talking about. And this would have been a baller short, which I think he got, but I think that just if you could have doubled down here, that'd have been even better. And I did get a quick scalp here towards the end. There was a huge bid at 620. And it had sold down, bounced off VWAP, but then kept going down. There was a big bid at 620 that kept staying there. It was even getting bigger. So I started adding in heavier for this scalp, and I got all out right at the close here. So those are my trades. Thanks.